Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have a big topic to talk about, and that is Israel reportedly is preparing yet again to strike Iran amid President Trump's negotiations for a diplomatic solution and a peace deal with the Iranians over their nuclear program and the pursuit of getting enriched uranium, which they obviously already have, but not at weapons grade. It is a very fluid situation. The United States is pushing for one thing. Israel is pushing for another. We have a new development since Trump allegedly, reportedly chewed Bibi out over the phone over his handling of the situation and undermining the U.S.'s ability to reach a deal and avoid war. We're going to break it all down and much more. As you can see, I'm also back in my set. Thank you very much to everyone who reached out and shared very kind words about me being back in my home. I read them all. You guys are very nice. You're the best fans on all of YouTube. Before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment with your thoughts below on how you want to see President Trump handle Iran, Israel, and the rest of the region. Now, let's get into it. As viewers of the channel know, reaching a deal with Iran is a top priority for the Trump administration. He does not want another Middle Eastern war, does not want another Middle Eastern conflict, and he very much clearly prefers reaching a diplomatic solution over the Iranian program that would either cut down their enrichment capabilities, completely eliminate them, one or the other. The Iranians say they won't completely eliminate them. They want to keep them at their civilian levels. Trump favors that deal. But of course, as we've talked about at length, he is also keeping the option to use military force on the table because you can't have great diplomacy if you don't have the threat of military action. The United States obviously has the most powerful military in the world, and we would be the people responsible for carrying out an attack in Iran on their facilities, on their sites, and we do have the tools to do it, specifically stealth bombers, the GBU-57. We've talked about all this at length. Israel, of course, does not have the tools to do it. They do not have the bunker-busting bombs, nor do they have the heavy bombers you would need to get over there and drop those type of ordinances on underground facilities buried deep under mountains. These are the baseline facts. United States pushing for diplomacy, Israel pushing for war. You can disagree with the facts or you can agree with the facts, but that is at a baseline what the truth of the matter is. Well, we now have some new reporting that comes from the New York Times, and I know people are going to be like, the New York Times, that's crazy. The New York Times, believe it or not, does do some good foreign policy reporting. Yes, they screw up things all the time, but this is an incredibly well-sourced article. And it's very concerning, and we should all talk about it, and that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to throw this up on the screen. This is part one. It says, as the Trump administration tries to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel has been threatened to upend the talks by striking Iran's main nuclear enrichment facilities, according to the officials briefed on the situation. The clash over how best to ensure that Iran cannot produce a nuclear weapon has led to at least one tense phone call between President Trump and Mr. Netanyahu and a flurry of meetings in recent days between top administration officials and senior Israeli officials. Mr. Trump said on Sunday that there could be something good coming about his effort to limit Iran's nuclear program in the next 2 days. Others familiar with the negotiations said that at best there would be a declaration of some common principles. The details under discussion remain closely held and would likely only set the stage for further negotiations, starting with whether Iran could continue to enrich uranium at any level and how it would dilute its stockpiles of near bomb-grade fuel or ship them out of the country. So that's part one. We kind of discussed that yesterday in the video, kind of got into what Israel's doing, what the United States is doing, and the phone call between Netanyahu and Trump. This is where things get very, very dicey for the United States and need to be treated incredibly seriously. I'm going to go ahead and throw this up on the screen. This is from the same report. I'm going to throw it up here for you. It says, one concern for American officials is that Israel could decide to strike Iran with little warning. U.S. intelligence has estimated that Israel could prepare to mount an attack on Iran in as little as 7 hours, leaving little time to pressure Mr. Netanyahu into calling it off. But that same American military assessment raised questions about how effective a unilateral Israeli strike would be without American support. And some Israeli officials close to Mr. Netanyahu believe the U.S. would have no choice but to assist Israel militarily if Iran countered it. We're going to get into that here shortly because that is really the crux of this whole issue. Israeli officials have told their American counterparts that Mr. Netanyahu could order a strike on Iran even if a successful diplomatic agreement is reached. After his White House meeting with Mr. Trump in April, Mr. Netanyahu ordered Israeli national security officials to continue planning a strike on Iran, including a smaller operation that would not require U.S. assistance, according to multiple people briefed on the matter. Israel already has many different plans on the shelf, ranging from the surgical to days and days of bombing Iranian facilities, including some in crowded cities. So that's the part that we really need to hone in here on. And we're going to do that. So what essentially is being reported here is that Israel, as it stated, might upend the attempts at a diplomatic solution with Iran that would avoid a war, and they might try to go in alone, knowing that ultimately the United States military might have no choice but to back them up. What does this mean? Where do we go from here? What should we think about it? Let's go ahead and talk about that right now. The reality of this situation is shockingly straightforward and simple. And I'm going to give it to you the best way I can. We are reaching peak levels of insanity when the United States is pushing in one direction and an ally that we fund and subsidize, arm, and give money to wants to push in a different direction. This applies to NATO. This applies to the Gulf states. This applies to our allies in Asia. This applies to Israel. The way I see it, and maybe you disagree with me, feel free to let me know in the comments if you disagree. I'd love a nice, fun debate. If we are giving any country money, I don't care what country it is, but if we are giving them money and they're living under the umbrella of United States military protection, then when we tell them to do something, that really is not the start of a debate or a negotiation. It's marching orders. And that applies for every single country that lives under our deterrent umbrella, takes military aid, has American military equipment, doesn't matter who it is. At the end of the day, if you want to live under the protection provided by the United States government and the generosity of the American taxpayer, then we are going to be the ones running the show. End of story. I don't even understand how this is complicated. I truly do not understand how this is complicated whatsoever. We have a situation that is rapidly spiraling out of control, according to multiple reports, where the United States is pushing for a peace deal and Israel is preparing to possibly strike Iran, which would guarantee that it'll never be a peace deal. Furthermore, as the New York Times reported, the Israelis feel confident that if they strike unilaterally, even if they can't complete their objectives, the United States will then come in and defend them from an Iranian counterattack, which we've already done twice. When Iran launched all those drones and ballistic missiles, what happened? The United States sent up fighter jets, weapon systems to shoot them down, to keep Israel safe. And by the way, I don't have a problem keeping any of our allies safe. That's what you do when you're an ally. You help out. And the Middle East came together, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the UAE came together to stop that Iranian threat. We also have 2 THAAD missile defense systems over there right now. We have given a ton of protection, a ton of military equipment, and our essential, the backbone of the American military power to stop Iran from being able to strike Israel. Because our goal is to reach a peace deal. That is what President Donald Trump wants. We, as the United States of America, is the world's greatest economy, world's greatest military, cannot allow any other country to upend our peace process. It's really that simple. People will tell you it's complicated. They need to do what's best for them. It's a very advanced situation. We don't really understand. And I'm sympathetic to that view in part because I don't live there. I'm an American. I care about America. This is my country. It's where I was born. It's where my family's been for a very, very, very long time. We're not leaving. I'm not leaving America. But at the end of the day, that's fine. But then don't take American military assistance. Seems pretty straightforward and simple to me. If you want American weapons like the F-35, if you want our weapons to keep you safe from bombs falling on your head, that's fine. We're great people. We're the most generous people in the world. We're happy to help our allies. But that comes at a cost. It's not free. And the cost of that is when we tell you to do something, or even better yet, when we tell you to not do something, like don't go bomb Iran in the middle of peace negotiations, you should just say thank you and listen. That's the way it works. That's the way foreign policy works. That's the way it's supposed to work when you take a country's foreign aid. And yet it doesn't really seem like that's quite exactly what's happening here. Seems like Trump is pushing for peace and getting more and more angry with Bibi, and Israel is still gearing up to possibly hit Iran, which would then eliminate any potential for a peace deal, would result in a counterattack that the United States almost certainly would have to get involved in defending. And then we are now moving up the escalation ladder. I talk about the escalation ladder all the time because it's 100% true. Once you're on the escalation ladder, you have no idea where that spiral ends. You have no idea where the exit ramps are going to be. And for everyone who claims Iran won't retaliate, they won't do anything if Israel goes in and bombs them, I can guarantee you that's not true because we have history that shows us this. Israel attacked an Iranian consulate building in Syria. Iran responded by attacking Israel, which the U.S. then defended and shot down the missiles. Israel then struck again. Iran then struck again, which the U.S. then yet again came in and defended against. I can guarantee you this. Iran will not sit back and do nothing if they are attacked. Are they vulnerable at the moment? Yes, no question about it. Do they still maintain a large rocket and ballistic missile force? Yes, no question about it. And those rockets and missiles are within range of not just U.S. locations throughout the Middle East, but obviously the locations of our allies. That's who they're going to fire at. And once that happens, it is off to the races. I don't want Iran to have a nuke at all. Don't want it to happen. I think it comes with a load of problems. But if we can find a way to stop that from happening without a massive military conflict with no clear exit ramps and no clear ability to stop it, that's what we should push for. And Trump, as the leader of America, needs to make clear to the Israelis, we're the ones running the show, not you. Not Saudi Arabia, not the Jordanians, not the Emiratis. We are, because we're paying for this party. And when you're paying for the party, you get to run the party. End of story. But maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you do agree with me. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll keep updating you all on the issue as it flows in. Hit that bell so you always know when there's a new video. And as always, I'll catch y'all next time.